So, where do I start? Well, let's start with the little things that matter, or the little things that don't matter. Let's start with a phone call I made to Hope Not Hate, who had written an article in which they claim that I am and have given speeches for the English Defence League. Now, I'm not quite sure why they feel the need to lie about things. I make no secret of the fact that I am who I am, that I stand, that I am Mothers Against Radical Islam and Sharia, that I am M.A.R.I.A.S. It's really quite as simple as that. I am M.A.R.I.A.S. I make no apology for that. But to then claim that I've given speeches for the English Defence League is a lie. It's a lie. Never happened. Now, what this chap, although he wasn't happy to give me his name, what he didn't take into account is that I would record it.
Well, okay, whoever wrote the article has claimed that I am part of the counter-jihad movement. Now, I would say that was actually a compliment. I would have assumed anybody would be against jihad, especially when we see jihadists beheading people. So I don't take that as an insult at all, not at all. What I take umbrage to, I've no problem with you writing about me, I've no problem with you writing articles about me, but what I would have appreciated is a bit of common courtesy.
First line,
contacting me,
wait for it,
yourselves,
if you can hear it.
No, I wasn't.
Now, that's the point where he says, I believe you were contacted via email. No, I wasn't, I said. I never had that. I said, tell you what, find that email, read it out to me. He said, well, I'm not able to do that. I said, well, you wouldn't be able to do that, would you? Because you don't have my email address. I said, unless, of course, you've obtained my email address through some snidey means. Now, he then says, well, why are you getting upset if you're saying we didn't have an email? Well, make your mind up. Did you email me and ask me for my opinion, or give me a right to reply, or a right to defend, or did you not give me an email? It's a very simple question. I don't think that one takes particularly an awful lot of common sense to work out. To which he then turns round. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't want to bore you all rigid. But he then goes on to turn around and say, well, if you're that bothered, then sue us. Or what he actually says is, get a lawyer. So I would advise every person who Hope Not Hate has written about, did they email you? Did they email you and tell you they intended to write an article about you that was full of lies, or an article about you full stop, and give you a chance to give your version of events first? I have to say version because there's always two sides to every single story. So, you know, I'm going to be fair and say, you know, your version of events. And all he could say to me was, get a lawyer. Well, just so you know, Mr. Hope Not Hate, your advice to contact Nick Lowles? No. Nick Lowles wants to contact me and ask me, that's fine. I'll have no problem with that. You have my phone number now. I didn't withhold it, so you can ring me. Not a problem. But if you're going to write about me, write the truth. Not your version of the truth that happens to be lies. I have never given a speech for the English Defence League, which he then goes on to say that their legal advisor gave the go-ahead for that story. He also went on to say that their investigators could provide evidence of me giving a speech for the English Defence League. So I've challenged him, and I'll challenge him again. In fact, I'll challenge you, Nick Lowles. Go and find a video of me giving a speech for the English Defence League. I defied him. I am defying you. I do have the whole conversation. And the same goes for you, Tell Mama. You want to tell lies about me? I would severely suggest that you contact me and you get the truth first. Don't make it up as you go along. It's called being a bullshitter. And I don't have a great deal of respect for bullshitters. So it looks like Hope Not Hate are bullshitters. It looks like Tell Mama are bullshitters. Oh, that's right, we know Tell Mama's bullshitters. They lost their funding for telling lies. Am I surprised by their bullshit? Not really. Am I surprised that Hope Not Hate's bullshit? No, but I'm surprised at the attitude that he meets people with. Now, I would say, every person out there, I don't care if you're left or right, every single one of you, that Hope Not Hate has written an article about without your prior consent or your right to reply, I would say, why don't you all chip in together and sue the backside of them? I think that's a pretty good idea myself. I mean, they think it's all right to tell lies. They tell you to seek legal advice. Well, why don't you all chip in and cover the costs of that legal advice? So that's that unimportant little snippet. And just so you know, when you write lies about me, I will ring you up. Be warned, I will be recording it. I will record every conversation where I believe the person who has written a story has told blatant lies. So that's that little unimportant snippet done. Second thing is, there's a guy who I've been in touch with in Pakistan. Now, he calls himself John. And I have to say, he's a kindly soul. He really is a kindly soul. And we've developed a little bit of a friendship on Skype. We chat quite often. He's a really lovely guy. This man is hiding in the back of a factory. Now, the reason he's hiding in the back of a factory is because he has been told, in no uncertain terms, that he's a dead man. Now, you've got to ask yourself, why is this man a dead man? There you go. This is why. John denounced Islam. For his own choice, no force from anybody. He chose to leave Islam. He chose to become a Christian. Which in this country, in the UK, you have a right to choose, you'd think. However, he was beaten, he was starved, and he was beaten some more. He was beaten to such an extent that they would kick him, punch him. They left him so that when he urinated, he had blood in his urine. Such was the kickings that he took. He then came across a Christian lady. This Christian lady had stood in the way of Muslim men attempting to rape a younger sibling, and in return had acid thrown in her face, which melted the skin over her eyes. John got her into a hospital where they told her she would need around 16 years of surgery, I think he said, to try and remove the skin from the eyes, with the possibility of some sight remaining. 2 days after getting into the hospital, this lady was thrown out of the hospital because she was, in their words, a filthy Christian. She was then caught by Muslims, a particular group. I'm not going to give the name of the group. John has given me the name of the group, and if need be, if anything happens to a hair on that man's head, I will expose it by whatever means necessary. Now, because they then told her that if she didn't give up who had helped her, they would rape her daughters. And out of fear, she gave them John's cellular phone number. He then received a phone call where he was told, "We will take your head off, we will chop your body into pieces, and we will deposit you in the four corners of Pakistan." This man is drinking water from the air conditioning unit. He works from 12 to 17 hours a day, doing the dirtiest jobs, because that's all Christians are fit for, apparently. And when he's not working, he's sleeping. Now, he has a fiancée. She lives in New Zealand. He has been working and saving up what little money he can save up to get her to Pakistan so that they can get married. She has children. Those children all call him Dad. and they then want to go to Islamabad where it will be safer for them. I have got a lady who's attempting to try and get Christian organisations on board to try and help. I have myself passed on several Christian organisations to John in order for him to go and make contact with them, which I obtained via Baroness Cox. So people like John, would I help them? Absolutely I will. I'd like to think that if we can get a GoFundMe page up and running for John, that other people will help people like John. Do I think that people like John deserve to live in the UK and seek true asylum? Yes, I do. And I would defend the right of anybody seeking true asylum who's living in those kind of conditions under those kind of threats. But do I support the carnage that is going on in Calais? No, I do not. Do I think we can run the risk of letting people in from those migrant boats? When you look at those boats, they are full of young, fighting fit young men. Now, if I was fleeing a war-torn country, or if your husbands were fleeing a war-torn country, I'm pretty certain it's not just the English that have this attitude. Women and children first. Yet what we're seeing is hordes of 20 to 30, 40-year-old men trying to get into the country. The government themselves have said they have no idea how many of these may be jihadists. I then open up a link today. 800 jihadists that have been to Syria and trained in terrorism are now loose in and around parts of Europe and especially the UK, who have been told to commit lone wolf attacks. These are not lone wolves, because they're all operating together. They know what that one singular person will do. So it's not so much a lone wolf, is it? Really? This is organised crime, organised murder, organised slaughter, and organised terrorism. Do I think our borders should be shut? Yes, I do. We cannot run the risk in this country of bringing more and more and more extremists into this country that we cannot for certain say are not extremists. Will I protect the women and children of this country first and foremost? Yes, I will, in whatever way necessary. And according to some, that makes me racist, Islamophobe, hater, and all the other truly delightful words that we've all learned to embrace to the extent of it almost becoming a love of the word. Because you've now made that word seem so very, very unimportant. So when there are genuine cases of racism and racist attacks, you have made that word seem less viable. But hey, all in the name of community cohesion, all in the name of multiculturalism. But the truth is, some cultures don't work with other cultures. There are Sikhs leaving the UK because when they came to this country, they looked at our culture and they were happy to embrace our culture and live by our culture and embrace our history. But because now there is a new culture in town, so to speak, Sikhs are leaving. So those who fought alongside in the Second World War, those who still fight every day, are leaving. We've got translators left at the mercy of radical Islam, radical extremists, because we won't let them in. So we're not going to let them in, but we're going to let hordes of migrants who we have no idea who they are or what their intentions are. Really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Who do I blame for this complete insanity? well, apart from Tony Blair, which we all hold responsible, you, David Cameron, you, Theresa May, for not addressing this problem, for ignoring this problem, and for ignoring the people of this country that have a right to an opinion. You work as civil servants for this country. These people in this country, be they black, white, brown or yellow, these are the people whose opinions do matter and you should be listening to. But we're not going to listen. No, God forbid you pay attention to the general public. On to the last topic, because I'm not going to keep everybody for too long. M.A.R.I.A.S on Saturday. It is not a demonstration. It is not a protest. This is being held as a conference. I have roughly 5, maybe 10 seats left for anybody who wants them. Once those 5, 10 seats are gone, that's it. I'm full. There will be no room for anybody else to get in. This is being done in the most professional manner that it can be done in. I have Baroness Cox coming along. I have 2 Muslim ladies, because I think that it's time to start opening real dialogue. People who are Muslim need to understand where non-Muslims are coming from and why they feel the way they do. And we perhaps need to hear from those Muslims who actually would like the opportunity to say, we don't agree with this and we actually stand with you, but they don't have that opportunity. Because they can't trust the organisations who claim to speak for those people, because they actually don't. So hopefully this will get some dialogue open. This will give people an opportunity to actually sit down and air their differences. And do you know what? There's going to be things you're going to hear and you may not like it, and that works both ways. We may not always like what we hear, but sometimes you have to hear what you don't want to hear in order to address the problem. And I, for one, I can take people throwing things to me that are offensive, and I'll take it on the chin. It's not going to kill me. Somebody screaming racist, well, I'm not going to die. Somebody screaming fascist, Nazi, bigot, I'm not going to die. So go the whole hog. Throw them all in one go and get it all out of the way and done. I'm not going to go home crying. Just as I have the right to criticise and be criticised. It works both ways. It's a two-way street. So M.A.R.I.A.S, Peterborough, if you're interested, contact me. Like I said, we now only have I was looking at my list earlier. I can't remember if I have 5 or 10. It's 5 or 10. It's one or the other that I have left. And a variation of people that, I mean, including a girl who has been raped by Muslim men, trafficked up and down the entire length and breadth of the UK. I also have a meeting coming up with the child sexual exploitation team in a certain area, which I will be going along to. Hopefully that can also start letting them understand that there is a problem. We cannot ignore it by pretending it doesn't exist, and we cannot keep dressing it up with the word Asian. It is not fair, and I believe in fairness and equality. So all your hope not hates and all your tell mamas that don't know who I am and don't know anything about me and who want to jump on the bandwagon and claim that they had an investigator and a legal team that says that I spoke for the English Defence League. Good luck on finding that, because I look forward to it, as I told him. I will defy you to find it, because it doesn't exist. So by all means, you find a video of me speaking at an English Defence League demonstration. Doesn't exist. So to all of those that have already agreed to sign up, I'll see you all there Saturday. If your name's not on the list, I'm sorry, but you won't be coming in. It's as simple as that. I'm not prepared to waver on that. So if your name's not down, you're not coming in. Please don't wear any colours of any kind. Don't come waving banners. This is not about being aggressive. Let's actually turn up smartly dressed. You know, I'm not saying wear a whistle and flute or, you know, a dicky bow, but turn up looking smart. Dress as you know you're representing the United Kingdom. You know you're representing England and Great Britain. So let's show people that actually us working class have more class than the rich elite class. I'll see you all Saturday. Take care. Bye.